Today is the day, one final round of the 2025 F1 Sim Racing World Championship, and today we will crown our champions. Event 3 has delivered nothing but action so far as we've raced in Mexico, Brazil and Qatar, and now we head to Abu Dhabi. A crucial qualifying session ahead that will set the grid for one final showdown. Let's have a little look back at how the season has unfolded so far.
2025 season is delivering every single event, every single race
for an incredibly intense battle.
It's all on the line as we head down the back straight.
Fasty's going to have a great opportunity. This could be it.
Fasty around the outside! Fasty goes around the outside and he's played it to perfection. What a performance for Ismail Fasty, who crosses the line. Fasty wins the opening race of the year.
This is incredible. We've got no idea who's going to take this one.
3 wide going down towards turn 1.
Lawrence got there. Lawrence got the lead.
Lawrence is absolutely in the pound seats to win this one.
He does not learn. The man does not learn. It's unbelievable, man. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Good luck, Jake.
Collecting other cars. Massive accident. Will it be the champion? Will it be the rookie? It's side by side to the line. It's a drag race to the line. It's going to be so close. Who comes to be first? It's Otis Lawrence who takes his first victory in the championship. No room for racing at all there. So intense.
We get a change out front with Alfie Butcher. He wants his first victory for the Papaya team.
Your leader by a mammoth, Alfie Butcher. He is loving life at McLaren.
Longue again has to stay out for another lap.
This is so tough.
Deployment is being used. Does he shape for the move into turn 1? He's not close enough.
For the win! A late lunge! Oh, it's not enough. Barry Barman back on top.
They're an incredibly close unit at Ferrari. It's wonderful to see our race winner comforting a driver who he wanted to bring with him to the podium.
Yeah, that's what it means to them, but what a race. What an absolute race.
He's in a great position to win his first race of the championship. Late braking move! Is he going to make the corner? Is he going to get past? Huge, potentially race-defining move for Thomas Ronha.
Second place now.
This is for the win. This is for the lead. Thomas Ronha takes P1. Oh, Ronha making contact. His front wing is damaged. Ronha's championship flashes in front of his eyes. You heard the pip of DRS. Could be 2 in 1 to take the race lead. Third to first in one corner to lead in Mexico City. Ronha has to now go roaring through the pack to try and get back up to Jarno Opmeer, or the party will start for the three-peater. Oh, Ronha clearing showing manly.
He's got so much to do.
Up against Otis Lawrence, the fourth man of Qatar, having the time of his life. Pressure, what pressure? The next two are the Red Bulls. Game on for the championship of the world. Try to move. The two title rivals hardly separated at all. Ron Hart a P4. Can he win it? And there it is. Again into turn 6. Oh, the move! Oh, that's brilliant. One man looking for the championship. One man looking for a win that would mean so much after a difficult season. Can he find the moment? He's getting to the inside. He makes contact. He takes the lead. Having overtaken nearly all of them. We will see you tomorrow.
We need to bring you some breaking news. Thomas Ronhart has received a penalty that changes the race result. Wow, what a season it has been. So many emotions, so much drama, and it's not done yet. I am delighted, though, to be joined by two of the very best, Alex and Matt. It's lovely to have you here with us again, as you have been all the way through. How are we doing for the final day?
I'm exhausted watching that montage. That is absolutely epic, isn't it? What a season we've had. Brilliant to be here on the final day. We have to crown our champions, and we come off the back of a race that was so controversial that if we get a repeat, who knows what might happen, even though it's a long shot for two of our contenders.
And Matt, the battle going down to the very last race. I mean, my goodness, that's exciting.
Are we surprised? This entire season we've been speaking about the different winners and the chopping and changing of form. Of course, Otmir goes into the final race of the season, absolutely the favourite.
Yeah.
But we've seen stranger things happen in F1 sim racing. So Otmir's going to have to do a good qualifying, which is, of course, what everybody's tuning in for right now. So as long as he makes himself safely out of Q1 and Q2, then he'll be well on his way to getting the championship.
Lovely. Well, guys, you know how I love my graphics, and it is the finale. So it is your time to shine, because I'm a little bit out of my depth with this one. Let's have a little look, shall we? And could you please talk me through some of the big data points that we've seen? Here he is.
They've literally got two titles on the line.
Yes!
This is not the...
Yes!
Hey, the graphics budget's been blown on that. You know what I'm happiest with that? Spelt my name right.
Yes!
You guys.
Happy birthday.
You did it. You did it.
It is Mr. Alex Jakes' birthday today. So, of course, we had to do a little shout for that. And we don't stop there. There's more!
Happy birthday
I don't know if they want to hear me singing. Come in, gang, come in.
Happy birthday. Wow,
Look at this. Oh, my goodness.
That's far too
That
healthy
looks
of a cake.
amazing. Alex, please do the honours. Blow the candles out. Make a wish.
Yeah, I've made a wish.
I'm not going to ask
No,
what it
I'm
is.
still here. Never mind. There we are. Amazing. Thank you to the whole production. This is way off piece. Considering it's literally a championship to be
It's the
decided.
quali show.
Yeah.
It's the quali show.
Quality show, anything goes. That looks absolutely
That
stunning.
looks fantastic.
Hey, that's going to be great with the ice cream that you've ordered.
Yeah, I might have ordered it. Okay, a little bit of a tickly throat. Anyway, leave that there. Leave that there.
No, that's going back.
We're not getting rid of that.
Yeah,
we're not getting rid of that. Don't give me a cake and take it away. Yeah, I should take. Brilliant. I got a blueberry from a cake.
Thank you very much, Marcel and Claire. We
Thank you, guys.
that.
Thank you to the production
Happy birthday,
team.
mate.
Thank
Happy
you, mate.
birthday. That was
I'm saving
great.
that.
I
I'm
love
saving
that
sort of
moment.
3 minutes of Alex Jakes' terror.
Okay, now as much as I'd love to stay on this, we do actually have, as you kept pointing out, we do have a championship on the line and we do have a graphic.
Have you finished your berry?
Yeah,
I've finished my berry.
That. So we're just showing
TBD.
here.
Who's it going to be?
Exactly. But just looking at this, guys, I mean, just look at the variety that we have had through this season. We've had first-time winners. We've had only a couple of repeat winners. This has been such a season, hasn't it?
Oh, I'm not doing any proper broadcasting now that you've thrown me under the bus like that. Matt, why don't you answer Bravo's question?
I'll answer. No problem. Look, when you look at that, it is an unbelievable season that we've seen unfold. I'm quite surprised to only see Thomas Ronhart's name once, considering the fact that we are still talking about him challenging for the championship potentially later on this evening. But yeah, it just shows that we've had such a competitive season. It was Fassi, the talk of Fassi in Event 1. It then changed. We had Freddie Rasmussen, the resurgence of him, Alfie Butcher for McLaren. There were so many awesome storylines this year. And maybe we've got one more to tell for round 12.
Oh, I really hope so. I really do. Now, Alex, you mentioned, of course, that yesterday the race was chaotic. He's just grinning still. He just loved that so much.
I got a cake. I'm having a good day.
But yesterday was chaotic, and after the race finished, we saw the change in result.
Yes.
And then there were penalties applied.
I wonder when we were going to get to
And
this.
let's get into it now. I mean, my goodness, the stewards were busy last night.
Okay, so the last time we were at the desk, Thomas Ronhart had a 1-second penalty. That's the part in the story that we got to.
Yeah.
That was for a dive-bombing move on his title rival, Jarno Opmeer. That was then appealed and rescinded. The rough driving penalty that stands, there was another one that was given out. That was for Fassi up the road. That again was rescinded. The one that stands and the one that dropped him down to 4th in the race order was the one for the win. So he went all in for the win to try and get those points up against Nicolas Longuet, and that one stood. That one remained after the appeal stewards made their case. Just too much contact, Matt, and they judged it rough driving.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at, on reflection, all of the moves he put down, even Thomas Ronhart himself wasn't confident he wasn't going to walk away with that with at least one penalty. He put everything on the line, he went for it, and he'd probably do exactly the same thing again if he was given the opportunity. There was, of course, other things within that graphic as well. His teammate being disqualified, deducted points due to the sandbagging that we saw. So it does pose a question in future seasons whether this penalty needs to be slightly harsher for teams to not deploy it. But here's the replay. That's on Jarno Opmeer. That one was removed due to the appeal system that the teams have. And of course, Kick, they appealed that one, and it was removed from an independent stewards away from this this whole scenario that we've got here. So yeah, plenty that went on. I know the stewards got a very late night, and they're hoping for a clean one today.
Bad luck, guys.
I don't know if they're going to get that. But let's just see how that has changed things in terms of the drivers' standings, because, of course, it reopens the gap that we thought had closed to Jarno Opmeer. Jakesy.
That is massive, isn't it? Sometimes I think with time penalties that you almost need to just swap their positions afterwards and modulate the time penalties, because sometimes a 1-second penalty drops you down to 2nd, and sometimes it can take you out of the points. Either way, Thomas Ronhart now on 127 points, Jarno Opmeer on 148, our champion-elect effectively. But as you say, Matt, we've seen crazier things in the past, and still punching for the title. Man, he's had a breakthrough year. Ismail Fassi for Williams, still mathematically in contention. Both Ronhart and Fassi desperate for a Q1 exit for Jarno Opmeer, and we're looking at the other contenders. 20 have scored points so far this year.
So you actually mentioned as well about the penalties, and it feels as though they have gone, as in, it used to be 5-10 seconds, which used to basically make you finish last.
Take you out of the points. Yeah.
The stewards have then gone, right, let's give out 1-second penalties, and it's still too big in some occasions.
Yeah.
So, as you say, you've thrown that in there.
Well, Nicolas Longuet deserved to win the race, didn't win the race. And Thomas Ronhart probably deserved to finish 2nd, didn't finish 2nd.
Yeah.
So that's the nature of it, though. He had to go all in for it. In the end, Barry Burman, congratulations to him. Red Bull on the brink of the title, which would mean a lot to them. Ferrari moving up to 2nd place, the main headline after yesterday, in a championship that had been dominated by Mercedes.
It has been an exciting year. I mean, the penalties have really just spiced things up these last couple of days. And as you've said, late nights for the stewards, and also just an air of uncertainty, because we kind of know when we leave the studio that there could be something coming.
Yeah.
Tonight, that is not what people are going to be
Gotta
wanting.
be settled.
We want people to be lifting these trophies, and we want it to be the right person.
And we will be live till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap
Big
it up before we get
birthday.
to
Your
the
birthday
28th.
end.
Yeah.
Big birthday for you.
No, we've spoken to all of them. They're going to behave tonight, so it's all good. It's all good.
Right, we are now going to head over to Claire, who of course just made a lovely appearance for Alex Jakes' birthday cake there, but she is now, I believe, with a Kick representative somewhere. We're going to go find her.
Of course, Samuel Lebert alongside me, the sporting director at Kick F1. You didn't get any of the cake, I'm afraid, but I'm sure everyone will have a bit of cake a bit later. Let's talk quickly. We haven't got long until the race gets underway, but obviously all of these issues from yesterday, overnight, the penalties being taken away. Firstly, let's talk about Thomas Ronhart's race. It was an incredible performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it's probably the best race I ever seen in sim racing from him. The strategy was risky, but we made it work. He made it work at the end. Some of the move was on the edge, but luckily for us, we got 2 removed. Unluckily for him, 1 standard. So yeah, we finished P4, which is not bad at the end of the game. At the end of the day, because he gained points on Jarno, and everything is in place for today. So
Yeah, the championship is down, of course, for quite a few people to maybe take it. Jarno looking like the strongest at the moment. However, the performance from Thomas yesterday shows that he's got no issues fighting hard, has he, with these people? The one that did remain was the Nicolas Longuet one. And why was that one different from the others?
Yeah, the one we remembered was Nicolas. The last move on the last lap, I think it was in our opinion was a 50-50 move, but yeah, it was maybe a bit too harsh, and nothing we can do about it.
Okay.
But yeah, he likes to be the hunters.
Okay, being the hunter.
Yeah.
Excited for qualifying? Where's he going to be?
What?
What's he going to get for qualifying, Paul?
I mean, we have to win today, so yeah, it's probably one of these, if not the best track of Thomas. So yeah, we will aim for the pole position and the win. We have nothing to do.
Okay, yeah, nothing to lose, all to win.
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose, all to gain. Well, less than 5 minutes, we're going to get underway for qualifying for Abu Dhabi, the final race of the F1 Esports Championship. Ariana, back to you.
Thank you very much, Claire. We just heard them saying this is potentially the best track of Thomas Ronhaar, so that's pretty promising. Marcel, welcome to the desk. Talk to us a little bit about the track. We're going to see some stats on the previous winners here and pole holders. Pole takers, yeah.
The pole.
Talk us through it, Marcel, because as we can see, Thomas Ronhaar's name popping up there in second place for the last 2 years. What do you reckon? Has he got it in him to do it today?
I mean, if he doesn't get a penalty, then yeah, I guess. But he has been quite aggressive. I mean, honestly, yesterday it was a chargeback. He had to do it. I can understand it. If he doesn't send it, I know people will hate on him if he does something wrong. But there is either winning or losing. And he needs to win every single race, every single session right now. So I think he did everything right, aside from a couple of the moves that he did. They were a bit too aggressive. He could win today. From the past, he only had pole in 23 last year, and he finished in P2 every time he raced here. But it is arguably his strongest track on paper. I remember in F1 22, everyone was so surprised seeing his times. That's when all of these back then allegations happened. Let's not talk about it, but he was crazy.
You brought it up, Marcel.
No, it wasn't me.
You literally brought it up.
My word.
You know, if he would
Marcel's going all over the show.
You know, if he would
At least we're not making it worse for Marcel.
No. If he wouldn't have driven that fast, nobody would have said something. So it's basically Thomas' fault. No.
But they're all here today.
They're all here.
Wow.
It's a LAN event, and he shut up the doubters, didn't he? As soon as we got all of them in the same room.
But his sector 3 is crazy. I think this is his strength. So maybe he will send it down the inside of the hotel section. Who knows?
Who knows? Well, we have a track guide from the man himself, Thomas Ronhaar. Let's have a little look, shall we?
So Abu Dhabi, last race of the calendar this year, is a very tough track, I would say. In towards turn 1, you want to, on the right-hand side, look at the meter boards, brake quite little actually. It's a corner where you have to carry a lot of momentum, as people might think. Use a lot of curb on the exit to have the best momentum on the flat left and then a long right-hander, which leads into sector 2. Then you enter with a hairpin that leads towards the back straight, so you need to get a very good exit. Use all the curb on the right-hand side, and then you enter the first DRS straight. But you have a chicane, which is very tricky. You can use the curb on the right-hand side, or you can stabilize the car by not using it. Make sure you clip the curbs on the both left and right-hand side. Then DRS open for the second time throughout the lap. You want to make sure you carry as much momentum as possible, which leads in towards the first sector, which is a long left-hander, which used to be a very tricky section until 2020, I think. And then you want to, in the hotel section, be very smooth your driving style. The tires will be, overheating. They'll be skyrocket in the quali laps. Make sure you're very smooth throughout the hotel section. And then in towards the last 2 corners, the tires are going to be through the roof, so you have to be very smooth. Use all the curb on the left and right side. And that's the lap of the Abu Dhabi circuit.
Well, thank you to Thomas Ronhaar for that. And now we're straight into the track map here. Marcel, talk us through the key points on this circuit, please.
I mean, key point at the end of Sector 1 is turn 5 and also the 6-7 chicane. If you don't nail the 6-7 chicane, you will probably lose about 1 to 1.5 tenths. Like, you can either make or break your lap. So this is, what did we call it yesterday? The corner of?
The
corner of dread. Yeah, so it's 6-7.
Corner of dread.
I think also the hotel section is quite difficult because you can get loose on the inside curb of turn 14, and also in between you need to go on the runoff curb between 13 and 14. You could actually see on the lap from Thomas that he got loose at the exit of 14. So I think 14, 6 and 7, those are like the main key points where the drivers really need to be nailing it, otherwise they don't have a shot at the pole position.
Thank you very much. I mean, considering that Jarno is the one leading the championship, we've barely actually spoken about him. What do you reckon for his chances for pole today?
Non-existent on the basis of his qualifying form so far this year. He just needs to get into Q3 and he will be having a party later on. But I don't think he's going to be at the front of the field. I think Thomas Ronhaar is going to take some beating. I think he's going to be hyper motivated to roar back after yesterday.
Well, we are going to find out very shortly. It is time to head into qualifying for Abu Dhabi. I'm going to leave it to you guys. I'm very much looking forward to this one to see how it sets us up for the race today. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy.
Thank you, Ariana. Here we go. Ariana's off to her deck chair.
Yep.
And we are off to Yas Marina. There we go. Floodlights illuminated, circuit ready for action. 3.2 miles, 5.2 kilometers, and 16 turns. Equipped with 2 DRS zones. Not much in the way of elevation, but it's really quick, as Marcel's been talking you through, compared to previous years. What was the corner of dread, Marcel?
I think 6-7 and 14 exit.
No, it has to be
so
one
multiple corners of dread.
Okay, then let's
circuit of dread.
Let's call it 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Very
corner
good.
6.5.
We are about to start Q1. We're about to bring you thrilling intermediate tyre laps on a dry track for the last time this year. We're going to be going through everyone's season. We're going to be bringing you the fast laps, and we're going to be deciding our grid for the final contest of the season, with Jarno Opmeer leading the points with one hand on the championship trophy and plenty being scattered over the brake marker boards down there at turn 6. Good value. Good value for everyone out there as we have the concluding day of a championship that has seen 7 different winners and provided us with so many brilliant moments. Races decided on the last lap. Races defended on the last lap, which is what you want to see as well. Not just slam dunk moves as you can get into P2 at the end. Penalties, controversy, but event 3, it's been Jarno Opmeer's event so far, and he's just trying to close out the result he needs to get himself into the top 8. And when he gets himself into the top 8, he will celebrate, he will hope, a 3rd championship. No one's ever won 3 in the history of F1 Esports, F1 Sim Racing, and he will hope to be the driver to change all of that later on.
A lot of talk about Opmeer, Ronhaar, Fassi. There's Brendan Lee, his final qualifying session as an F1 Sim Racing driver. Be sad to see him go. Been speaking about him a lot in Event 3, of course. He sat out yesterday. One of the first times we've ever seen that for Brendan. And I know he's going to put on a show. I can just feel it. And there we go. He's getting rid of zones ones as well. Just doing a bit of housekeeping, you know, the drivers out there.
They're in the way, all right? They're in the way. He is tidying up the circuit right now. This is excellent. Everyone treating it like Mario Kart out there. Tag everything that you can on the way by. Here is our championship leader, Jarno Opmeer. Racing with confidence, racing down to the hairpin. Such a wide
That's the ball up, yeah.
That's the ball up. Brilliantly done. Brilliantly done. Will there be more? Will there be brake markers?
DRS board, DRS.
We're looking for a DRS board. It's coming up. No, he's left the DRS board. How about any brake markers? Past the camera. There we go. Anything else down there? No, they've all been removed.
But you know why they are doing it? Because they're actually breaking off the curb. So sometimes they would get tagged by it. So they do it on the out laps to remove them, as it's the fastest lap. That's the reason why they do it. It looks a bit funny, but they actually need to do it to optimize their lap time.
Good luck, guys. Enjoyed the last session of the season. Go for it.
Nice message on the radio for Otis Lawrence, who's been one of our race winners this year. Thrilling drag race to the line with Jarno Opmeer back in Jeddah, one of the highlights of the campaign. And he celebrated the win for all he was worth after taking that one. And we're in the early stages. Housekeeping complete. And then everyone pouring back to the pits. Put on a proper set of tyres. And then we'll see who we've got out there. Ulas Ilzelderim is back in the car. We've got Lucas Blakely continuing on. Shanaka Clay will close out the season for Haas. Brendan Lee's final day. We'll be talking about him later on. And then it's Ismail Fassi, still mathematically in contention for the title. Josh Edu, Joni Tormala will close things out for Alpine. Otis Lawrence has been the team leader at Aston Martin. Alfie Butcher, Nicholas Longay, Thomas Ronhart, another contender for the title. But not as close as we thought it might be when he took the win on track yesterday. Demoted down after penalties, 1 second penalty for the move that he needed to try and take the win. Finished in 4th in the final classification. Thomas Gao is behind the wheel, as is Jake Benham. And it's Alvaro Caraton, Freddie Rasmussen, Danny Beresne, Fab Donoso, Barry Burman, Tom Manley, and they're all trying to beat Jarno Opmeer.
Lovely wave to the camera from Joni Tormala once again. We've been treated to many of those over the course of these 3 events. There's Danny Beresne, just sorting out a few things in the garage. Looking around, he's spotted the camera. I love how they try to then pretend, apart from Otis Lawrence, play it off like the camera isn't on them. Let's see, does Otis point to the temple? We usually see it.
Yeah, no, he's gone all coy.
He's gone shot.
Delivered.
He's dabbed instead. That is wild.
Excellent stuff.
That is
going
wild.
around. You've got to do something for the camera. Oh, there's the ultimate test.
Yeah, if we get something from Freddie,
if we get something from Freddie, it will be a big yawn from Jarno. he's feeling the championship pressure, isn't he? Freddie refusing. Yes, Brendan Lee.
Brendan.
He doesn't let us down, does he? He doesn't let us down. Popping a can off as well. He wants to hear the commentary. Good man, Brendan.
Yeah, he knows
good man. Locking in. Hyper focused for his final quali station.
He's staring us down now, Alex. What's going on?
We've lost Brendan Lee.
Yeah.
All right, we're losing the crowd. Brendan's alongside Thomas Ronhart, looking on there. Inside 12 minutes to go, and our Ferrari pair. And we say thank you to Nicholas Longay, who's been in the background of the Matt Gallagher shot all year.
Yep.
Right, having to not pull a face at everything Matt says, which is the hardest task in this studio. So we thank Nicholas Longay for locking in and keeping the expression neutral. Nothing going on, which is what I'm prattling on. Part of the deal. Marcel, what have you enjoyed about quali so far this year? It's been great to get your insights all the way through, but we don't let you appear after Q2 because you have to go and do the analysis.
You know, in my final year, I actually also sometimes didn't make it out of Q1, so I guess that's why the production puts me only into Q1, but I hope not.
What was the highlight of your season when Tom Deacon, who can't be with us tonight because he is embroiled in a corporate espionage scandal, when he mentioned your results at one of the events, and it was like an 8th, a 9th, and like a 15th.
He only did it on my bad track, so I'm very happy that in event 3... No, that would be rude. I miss him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all do. Tommy Deacon.
Tom, I'm so sorry.
We'll see you next year. Hopefully.
Maybe.
If the scandal gets resolved. Looking at the McLaren boys, Alfie Butcher, the sole winner for McLaren. I'm not sure I'd have called that at the start of the year. It was a great run. I like the way we're going all the way through the arena. I want everyone in the studio shown. Oh, Otis Lawrence. No, he's not going to pull an expression for the camera. 10 minutes to go.
Oh, fussy. Maybe fussy?
Yeah, so the crane's a little bit more...
Yeah, the crane...
Oh, there he is.
The crane's out of...
Here we go.
Yes, here we go. Still a contender for the title. No way he ignores this camera.
He knows.
No, he knows.
He knows. He knows that we're looking at him. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
there we are. What a season he has had. Breakthrough year for this man. in our opinion.
Yeah, he's saying,
fed
"Go
up.
away."
He's fed up of the attention. 4 times on the podium.
Trying to fight for a championship,
Yeah.
and we are trying to get a smile out of him.
Honestly, 4 times on the podium this year. 3 poles in the opening 4 races. Started event 1 on fire. Was our opening winner of the year, and the closest he's got to repeating that was Zandvoort. I love that move. I know he got a second penalty for it, but I love that attempt to win it with a move from
Amsterdam.
Absolutely miles back from Amsterdam.
That was, yeah.
As the commentator said, banging on. Honestly, where do they get the stuff? But yeah, from Amsterdam, one of the highlights. But he got a 1-second penalty for it because he could have taken out our eventual winner of that race, Barry Burrament, and the Ferraris in your picture. Our most recent race winner, and Nicolas Longuet getting out of the way. Barry Burrament trying, by the end of the day, to finish in 2nd place. He's got 119 points. Fassi has 125. Thomas Ronhart on 127.
Right round, baby, right round, like a wrecking baby, right round, round, round.
Oh my God, I wish I could blast some music right now.
Honestly, the music budget for this broadcast, we are out of pocket. Like, Matt Gallagher is going to have to donate his fee to cover the royalties that we have to pay.
Right, anyway, 8 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in Q1. We've finally got some actual dry compound
we've
of
broken
tyres.
Gallagher.
No, it's because I wanted to say a point, which thankfully is Barry Burrament. I wanted to reflect on his season very quickly before he actually got into his flying lap, which is starting in about 20 seconds' time. This man has had 5 non-scores across this season,
Crazy.
but 3 victories and 2 second places. When Barry looks back at this season, surely he's going to think, what could have been? Because that is an unbelievable set of results in those 5 races. If we were back in the old school Formula 1 days and you took some of the best results, Barry would be champion. Sadly, it's not the old days. But Barry has done a phenomenal job in half of it, and it's been so disappointing in others. He's had a 17th, retired, a 13th, a 15th, and a 12th. What could have been for Barry Burrament, Marcel?
Well, it could have been the championship, but
that's what I was suggesting. But
obviously, it is not the champion.
I thought you were going to give a little bit more insight.
My word.
This is absolutely unhinged.
We are all over the road here.
I tried to steer
We
the ship
have
back.
never needed push laps more. Thankfully, Barry Burrament is working the wheel through one of Marcel Kiefer's dreaded corners. And then you can hear he's into one of the DRS zones. Yeah, out in Q1 on 3 occasions this campaign. You cannot do that and be champion with the talent that we've got in the field.
Absolutely not. As you can see, through that fast left-hander now, that's where we saw Thomas Ronald have a little bit of an oversteering moment. I think we saw a very small one for Barry there as well. This is just very much a banker lap that he'll want to put down. Ideally, doesn't want to go again out in Q1, save a set of tyres, but let's see. In the last couple of corners, Barry Burrament comes.
They've extended the changes that they made in recent times. They've made that final couple of corners much faster, turns 15 and 16. And Barry Burrament comes over the line with a 21.4, which Joni Tormela also does, but slightly faster. And it's a 21.449 for the Finnish driver with Alpine. We're on board with Ismail Fassi. Really have to crank the steering lock on. Key corner before you go underneath the tunnel, not using all of the road on the exit of the corner. That's the one they made faster, which makes this way more of a challenge than it used to be. Got to use the curb, but you don't want to extend all 4 wheels over because you'll be pinged for track limits. Fassi slots in to 2nd place.
Joni Tormela has done an absolute stonker of a lap. It's just been beaten by Freddie Rasmussen, but Tormela will be very happy with that indeed. Only 19,000 slower than Rasmussen.
Okay.
Ronhar, of course, goes to the top of the times in this Q1 session. What about Otmir? He just needs to get out of this session. And where does he end up? He ends up in
P10.
10th. Wow.
You know Joni, I talked to him before the session, and he said he put some new glasses on. And he said, if he's doing well, then it's the glasses. I can't. Like, what is going on?
Oh no, Joni Tormela, the season he could have had. Always book your eye test before the season.
That's foreigner, man. Yeah, we'll see where that puts us.
What was the first part of that radio message?
Last corner.
Last corner. That's the thing. Far quicker than it used to be. And the drivers get tempted into using all of the road. Barry Burman, Nicholas Longate, 5th and 6th at the moment. Jarno Opmeer in 11th. Don't want to do the obvious commentary thing, but ooh, championship contender in 11th. Not the opener that he wanted. He did tell us he didn't want it to go to a final round, although he has got a mammoth advantage of 21 points on the board. But everyone knows how good Ron Ha has been around this circuit. Josh Edu, also a pole sitter around here, currently in 12th. That was a couple of years ago. It hasn't always been an ever-present, this one. Obviously is in the real Formula 1 calendar, but it hasn't always been our season decider for F1 sim racing. And 4 minutes on the board. Jarno Opmeer in P11. Josh Edu, Julio Zelderim, Danny Beresnay, Lucas Blakely. Race winner in Danny Beresnay, former champion in Lucas Blakely, former pole sitter in Alvaro Caraton. There's some capable drivers. Thomas Gall, Brendan Lee looking for legal lap times. They've had their times invalidated, and as a result are on the back row of the grid. Brendan looking for a performance that at least gives himself a chance. He's trying to break through into the next stage of qualifying, and the top 15 will progress. But you knew that, but obviously they've pulled into the pits, so there's limited things to say. So that's a little bit of filler content that you might chuck out there.
Just in case we'd forgotten.
Yeah. So what have you got for us?
What I've got for you is that Opmeer's not going to be feeling the pressure right now. However, seeing Ron Ha fastest as well is, you just see that, right, Marcel? It's not going to be playing a huge part. He's a double champion already. But down in 11th, it's a track that he has openly said is not his favourite. He knows for a fact that it's one of Ron Ha's favourites, and he's very, very quick round here, as we've already seen in this first lap in Q1. What is Jarno going to be feeling right now? Because what it suggests to me is there is a seasoning of pressure starting to build for this final lap.
Honestly, I don't think Jarno cares about what Ron Ha's doing, without being like rude or anything. I think, from what I remember,
but it's on his screen, right? You can see that Ron Ha's fastest.
Yes, but the only thing that matters to Jarno right now, like his mentality is, I'm in P11, I need to be P1. So if P1 is Ron Ha, then he wants to be Ron Ha, but he has to be the full grid. Like, he only cares about being in P1. Yeah.
We've had Ron Ha, Tormala and Fassi all retiring, so they're not going out for another lap. Freddie Rasmussen as well. I guess the saving grace for Opmeer, even if he does have a disappointing qualifying, is that he has Freddie Rasmussen at his disposal. The team's championship is done and dusted. So Freddie Rasmussen, second place, if he pops it on the front row in Q3, Freddie can do whatever is needed for Jarno to win the Drivers' Championship. So that is a nice sort of feeling to have, knowing that you can rely on that driver next to you as well.
Yeah, I mean, also last year in Abu Dhabi, there was one thing where the teams complained that the second team, RB, was also working with Red Bull, and we have seen it in Mexico, which got penalized. Now we have Ulas back on the grid for qualifying as well, so we don't know yet. I mean, Kick helped their teammate yesterday, RB helped Red Bull arguably in Mexico. Let's see what's gonna happen here. So let's enjoy qualifying. Let's see some hot laps. Come on, guys.
Well, they're about to come, aren't they, Alex?
They are indeed. We've got a minute to go. Definitely wasn't doing something on the iPad at that point when Matt
thought I'd make you do some work.
Shanaka Clay into the first turn. Oh, dancing it on the edge of the white line beautifully. Nicely done, sir. Improving all the while. Driver currently in the drop zone. Picture of concentration as he tries to continue on and continue in this qualifying hour. Full qualifying hour for you. And he is looking to attack one of the dreaded corners of this racetrack.
Certainly is. Heading down towards the dreaded 6 and 7. Clay on the brakes really hard. Can he get the apex? Maybe missing it just ever so slightly there, and you could see that with the loss in his delta time. He's gained a little bit on the exit, as you would imagine, with these being the final laps in Q1. The track ever evolving. How does he fare in this fast left-hander? Does he have a bit of oversteer? He gets away with it. It's not a huge gain once again for Clay. He's going to want a little bit more in this final sector.
Well, remember, Jarno Opmeer is safe by 1/10 of a second. Needs to find some improvement out there. but he is looking at Alvaro Caraton, who is the driver, 10th of a second back. Shanaka Clay comes over the line, and he improves up to 9th position. There's time to be found out there, and Jarno Opmeer will need a lap time. Thomas Gal will not progress. He's come over the line. He is in 19th position. Otis Lawrence hits the front of the field. Danny Bresnay's in 7th place.
Opmeer's had a steady middle sector, Alex. He's going to need a good one in this final one to get
Down
through
to 14th,
safely.
down to 15th. Brendan Lee on his last qualifying session, trying to influence things. Jarno Opmeer's in 17th position. Brendan Lee crosses the line. He'll be on the back row of the grid. Shanaka Clay is in 16th. Jarno Opmeer needs a lap time. Currently down in P17.
Oh my God.
Look at the game.
Only improving by hundredths. He needs more. He gets up to 15th. He's escaped by the barest of all margins.
6 thousandths. 6 thousandths of a second.
Oh my word. He gets through by 6 thousandths of a second, and we nearly had a title decider come alive. Opmeer getting through by the skin of his teeth.
Oh my goodness me. Manley came over the line, and I thought that the RB was going to take the position into Q2 and put Opmeer down in 16th. A massive sigh of relief for Jarno Opmeer. But I mean, just look at the gaps. 1.5 tenths separating the top 15. Lawrence ended up fastest. Blakely there, down in P18. His season continues to be a tricky one.
And just to put that into context for you, Ronha and Fassi, they need to win the race and hope that Opmeer doesn't score, and they nearly had him. P16 on the grid with that not likely, but a mountain to climb from there in a dry race, which we're expecting in Abu Dhabi. Mountain to climb avoided, but that's what you get on Decider Day. Nothing taken for granted. Opmeer breathes again.
I'm surprised to see Tamas Gal, a driver that has been so brilliant in qualifying in the Haas, down in 20th position around this Yas Marina Circuit. That's a driver I would have bet to get through to Q3. But alas, 20th for him, and that allows Opmeer P15 as we head into Q2.
Well, you can see Manley, Shanaka Clay, Brendan Lee and Tamas Gal have been eliminated, along with Lucas Blakely, who's ready to speak to Claire Cottingham.
Yeah, I can already tell, Lucas, that you are furious at what happened there. What kind of went on? Why are we as far down as we are?
Yeah, well, it's just invalidated turn one. It's that simple. Bounced off the inside curb, ran a millimetre wide, and then that was the lap cancelled. So, yeah, first one wasn't good enough. It's what it is, isn't it? Just got to keep my eyes forward to the race and see what happens from there.
It's been a tough old season, hasn't it, Lucas? And it's not where we're used to seeing you. I know we keep saying it, but it really isn't.
Yeah, well, it's not where I like to be either. It's not for a lack of hard work. I've worked harder than ever. Still get every last bit of belief in myself. I never question that. So, I don't see these results as, I don't overanalyze them in that regard. I just, things aren't working. As I say, not for the lack of effort from the team. We've gave it absolutely everything. I've sacrificed my life, literally. It feels like for the last year and a half, I've gave it absolutely everything in this championship, and I've had very little reward out of it, which hurts more than anyone can possibly imagine. It really, really is painful, but ultimately, if I give up, nothing will ever be achieved. So, I know what I think the problems are. I'm perfectly confident in my ability, so, I'm still finding a way to smile through it all, regardless of the situation.
We appreciate your smile, and let's wish you good luck for the race.
Thank you.
Claire Cottingham speaking to Lucas Blakely. We've said it all the way through the season. Want to underline it. Every driver that talks to us after going out in Q1, we greatly appreciate their day really, really ruined by such a result, but still fronting up and talking to us. And yeah, it's been great to get the inside all the way through. Love that resolve from Lucas Blakely. Not going to achieve anything by giving up. He'll want to come back. He'll want to prove himself again, try and get back to that championship winning class that we've seen from him in the past. 15 back out there, rearranging the furniture, including Jarno Opmeer, who very nearly gave himself a stressful old time of it, didn't he?
He really did. That was game on for the championship if Opmeer was out in Q1. He still needs to try and somehow get into the top 10, otherwise he's got a bit of work to do this evening. Of course, as we said, we've got Freddie Rasmussen out there that's looking slightly stronger on the other side of the Red Bull sim rigs. Yes, as you can see, if you missed Q1, they are just removing the braking markers and the things in the way of their braking, because they take such extreme lines where these things are actually in the way. So they are just hoovering the circuit up at the moment.
Bye-bye bollards.
Yep, there's another one. Gone!
Daft outlaps at the moment, but as you say, Matt, there's a reason behind it. Ismail Fassi on a lap.
He'll clear this as well into turn one. One, two.
And that.
Oh, didn't get that one. But
still one out there.
Yeah, obviously on an older set of soft tyres here, no representative laps to be had, but Fassi will still be out there to push along anyway and get as much data into his brain as possible. But yeah, Opmeer on the back foot, as we've mentioned. It's going to be crucial for him to not line up 14th on the grid. It's going to be great for the storyline into tonight's race. With Ron Hart, as we're riding on board with him now, looking as strong as ever. He's already had 2 poles in a row. Can he make it 3? An extra point to his tally as well. It could mean absolutely everything to him come the end of this event. So he'll want to pick up another point if he possibly can. But Opmeer needs to find that extra half a tenth that he was lacking in Q1. And that's all it is, Alex. Half a tenth we're talking about here. 1.5 tenths separating the top 15 in Q1. It is the finest of margins, but this is what Opmeer needs.
Well, he'll be hoping for a better performance in this second part of qualifying, but sometimes you just get tracks that drivers don't get on with. And he was wary of it when he was talking to us on the desk as a winner. He was wary, after Brazil that was, he was wary of Abu Dhabi being the title decider. Ismail Fassi over the line, driver who finished 8th last year in the standings, currently running 3rd in the points. A brilliant second season for the Spanish driver, who goes in with an opportunity. Ronha has gone out there and blitzed the times. Very, very quick first effort for him, but we are in the unrepresentative phase with everyone going out there with a variety of tyre life bolted to the car. We've got Ronha, then Rasmussen, Benham, then Lawrence Beresny, then Tormala, and then Caraton and Eden, a full pole sitter around this circuit. As we saw earlier on with the graphic, 1 year ago, Freddie Rasmussen taking the title here, defeating Thomas Ronhart by 6 points, running a really assured race on his way to taking his maiden title. Teammate this year for the man who leads the points in Jarno Opmeer. And for Freddie Rasmussen, Matt, it was all about that event 1 and a really tough time, including that big crash in Jeddah, which meant that he got off to a really slow start in the points.
Because that guy he performed quite well in pressure. Thomas is so good under pressure.
Yeah, under pressure he usually performs better.
Mr. Barry, very complimentary of Thomas Ronha, delivering under pressure. Whether that was his Q1 lap, of course he had 1 attempt, or even these laps that we say are not representative. But Ronha, once again, even with an old set of boots on, going fastest. The drivers know what Ronha is capable of. But back to Freddie Rasmussen, as you were saying there, Alex. He's had a really disappointing season. It was lost all in event 1, 1 point scored out of 4 races. You can just say goodbye to the championship. However, he still has a pivotal role in this this race. I was going to say weekend. It's not actually the weekend. You know what I mean? The qualifying and the race that we've got today. Because if Opmeer is struggling, if Rasmussen can take the victory away from Ronha or Fassi, then it doesn't matter. We're all good.
Yeah, he's the insurance policy, isn't he, for Red Bull? And a pretty talented one to have. The most wins all time in F1 Esports. So you've got the Ferrari boys looking on. And now in the Sim Racing Championship, we're ready to go back out onto the circuit and get some actual push laps on the board. We've got Thomas Ronhaar currently fastest, Freddie Rasmussen in second, Jake Benham in third, Otis Lawrence in fourth, and then Danny Beresnay is in fifth. But 9 minutes to go. We're finally going to get to the stage of the session where we can tell you laps that do have the consequence. Jarno Opmeer not putting a time on the board, but we'll be hoping for a better first effort in this session than he had before, where he was finding himself on the back foot, only clearing, if you just press play, only clearing into the second part of qualifying by 6 thousandths of a second. Otherwise, it would have been P16 on the grid and all sorts of hype before the final race of the year. Still might be. On the evidence of before, he could really do with a good first banker lap. We're on board with Danny Beresnay, who was definitely the story in Event 1 and Event 2, competing all the way through. Mercedes deploying their drivers and using all three to split the races and to focus on the team's championship, but they've been caught and passed by both Red Bull and Ferrari now. That was Danny Beresnay. This is Jake Benham, who is finishing the season for the team. Istvan Pukki, the other driver for Mercedes this year.
8 podiums, I believe, for Mercedes this year, shared across Pukki, Beresnay and Benham. Benham having his first disappointing race in Qatar, finishing 15th there. But the other results he's had is third, fourth and fifth. So he's proved his worth, but he's just not had enough time in the car to potentially build the momentum and have any chance of being involved in a driver's championship. But here's Barry Burman. He was involved in the conversation for a little while, but sadly just out of mathematical possibilities of winning this championship this year. And hard on the brakes he goes before he heads down this very long straight towards turns 6 and 7. Barry, one of those drivers that was singing down the team radio, always has a very light, cool demeanour, doesn't he, Barry Burman? He loves what he does. It means the world to him. We've seen that in the past, winning, of course, with Ferrari in the team's championship. And that just whole dynamic at Ferrari, it hasn't worked for them this year, but my goodness me, I don't think you could get a better teammate pairing when it comes to their relationship.
Wonderfully supportive in the good times and the bad. It's been great to see. And poor old Barry Burman, I think if he knew that Longuet was going to hang on to the win, they'd have never swapped the drivers round. Because he's been so supportive of his teammate. His teammate would have been the 8th different winner of the year. Nicholas Longuet last time out. Barry Burman trying to get that second place in the championship. He's mathematically out of contention for the title. Great to ride on board with him as he comes around the final corners, and he sets the fastest time, as we would expect. We cut back to his teammate, who separated a few meters back on the racetrack, and he goes ahead of his teammate by 0.05 of a second. Danny Beresnay ahead of both of them.
I don't want to start this Opmeer's under pressure narrative, but I think it's starting to build. His first sector, from what's coming up on my live timing, very steady indeed. So Opmeer, once again on this first lap, will want a decent one, unless he's running a huge amount of downforce slowing down that car, or in fact maybe even the opposite to that. It's a couple of tenths slower than what we're seeing from everyone else. The middle sector is a lot more competitive for Opmeer, so perhaps running a slightly different setup to the ones around him. 17.1 is the fastest first sector we've seen from the likes of Ronhaar out there. And he did a 17.4, just to give you a bit of an insight, because of course you don't see the sector times on your screen. As we look at Ronhaar, and that's a huge delta.
Look at what he's gaining. Look at this. Ridiculous time, but he just misses out compared to Freddie Rasmussen. Over the line we go with Jarno Opmeer, P8. So very similar situation to before. Not where he wants to be, not in the danger zone, but at risk heading into the final minutes of the session.
Yep, certainly at risk. His first sector is where he could gain that 10th and be right back in the conversation. Zilderim is very much in that. P3
yeah,
Q2 lap. Very impressive from him off the back of course, that whole shenanigans where he got
I thought you were going to go for shenanigans.
Yeah, did you? You sensed it.
Yeah.
And, well, it was shenanigans.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're on the same wavelength as I am. So yeah, Ulash up in third. Both the Mercedes drivers showing strong performances in fourth and fifth. Of course, they are fighting Ferrari in the team's championship. Ferrari with a 1-2 in the end yesterday after the penalty for Ronhaar. A little too late for Ferrari to challenge for the teams, but a brilliant performance all the same. With 4 minutes to go, Alex. It's finely poised.
It is incredibly finely poised. Freddie Rasmussen looking really, really strong. Thomas Ronhaar as well. Great lap from Raul Zilderem. Jake Benham ahead of Danny Beresnay. Mercedes have a nice feel around this circuit so far. Otis Lawrence, then Nicolas Longuet, and then the man we've been talking about, the championship leader by 21 points. Not getting on famously with the turns of Abu Dhabi. Jarno Opmeer knows, though, realistically, if he can stay where he is, it is going to take an almighty twist in the tail to change things for him. In 8th position, and we've seen one massive crash this year, and that was in Jeddah. The rest of the time, they're just so good. You don't get it. You don't get the same level of jeopardy that you might get. Another wave from Joni Tourmala. That's 2 for the session, and he's in 13th as he tries to break into the top 10. Top 10. Our winner from yesterday, Barry Burman, right on the cusp. And Ismail Fassi down in 14th. Could be the end of his mathematical chances if he can't make it through into Q3. But either way, we're going to get an answer in a few moments' time.
The very capable drivers behind Opmeer is sort of what you've described there, Alex. Burman in 10th. Butcher, a race winner this season, in 12th. Joni Tourmala, he's got new glasses, so he might be able to pop in a lap again. It was very quick in Q1. And then Fassi as well. Of course, Caraton, as you mentioned earlier as well, previous pole sitter. Plenty of very quick customers around and very fine margins as well. The top 10 separated by just less than 0.2 of a second. Small margins, small gains is all it will need around here. It's a much quicker circuit than we were used to prior to 2020. And it makes the qualifying ever closer.
Okay, 2-minute warning. This is absolutely vital for the last race of the year. Whether it goes to plan, whether you've had a good season or a bad season, you want to finish on a high to give yourself something to believe in going into the off-season. Plenty of league racing that will go on as well with the new game, but you want to finish in the World Championship as best as possible. Put yourself in the shop window if you've not quite had the right year that you were expecting. Opmeer, Ronhaar, Fassi, our championship contenders, all trying to make it through. Ronhaar, a sure bet for Q3. Will Opmeer find himself there? Will Ismail Fassi find himself there? Our main question as the field complete their outlaps, and they will push on for the Flyers at the very end and try and find their way into the top 10. We're setting the grid for the final race of the year.
Biggest lap of Jarno Opmeer's season. Coming up shortly, Danny Beresnay loves to be at the front of this field to set his lap early. And to turn 1 he goes. Did he run a little bit wide there? He's marginal on his previous best. Up in P5 at the moment is Danny Beresnay. Interestingly, Ronhaar is also out there on an outlap. So we'll see lots of improvements coming. Just the brake pressure Danny Beresnay puts on. He's flying in that sim rig. But we're seeing 0.03 of a second in the top right-hand side of your screen. Danny Beresnay improving as he focuses up towards the dreaded turns 6 and 7. How much will he gain into these couple of corners? Does he get it? Oh, that's beautiful. Beautifully turned in. Can he gain on the exit? Yes, he can. And I mean, look, he's 600ths up, but 600ths will put him in P3. So,
yeah. So sacrificing the entry there for the exits, had to modulate the throttle on the exit of the corner, so had more momentum than grip through there.
He's lost a bit of time in that left-hander, though.
It's hard through the rotation at 9. Crank on the lock into 12. We're under the hotel.
Oh.
Hurry up and wait stuff. Bounced off the curb, didn't he? Qualifying is complete. Checker flag is waving out there. Who's making it through? Everyone on push laps at the moment. It's been a scrappy one for Danny Beresnay as he comes across the line. And he finds himself in 5th position. Jarno Opmeer in 8th is the driver to watch. Joni Tourmala up to 8th position, pushes Jarno Opmeer into the pressure position. Barry Burman currently in the drop zone. Won't expect that. Good lap he's on at the moment. Going to get him ahead. Jarno Opmeer on the bubble in 10th position. Ismail Fassi needs a lap as well. Otis Lawrence to the front of the field. Can Josh Edo improve? Can Caraton improve? Can we see a lap time. We can. There's Alfie Butcher who goes ahead. Jarno Opmeer down to 13th right now.
Going to need a big last sector, Alex.
Jake Benham coming through. He's currently in 10th, nearly drops it at the final corner and remains in 10th position. Jarno Opmeer currently staring at the exit. Down in 13th as Ron Ha, his championship rival, goes to the front of the field. We have one corner to go.
He's down! He's down!
Jarno Opmeer's off the road. Jarno Opmeer's out. He's out in Q2. What nearly happened in Q1 comes to pass. He might have been 16th. He escaped that one. He'll line up 14th for the race where he could be a 3-time world champion. But the task just got that bit harder.
Set your alarms, because we have got a race on our hands later today. Opmeer 14th, Ron Ha on top at the moment, a 21-0 from the Abu Dhabi Master, as coined by me right now, because apparently he loves this circuit. But Ron Ha's looking
you just
very
quote
good.
Yourself?
I did,
okay, fine.
because no one else has actually said that. So yeah, 21-0 from Ron Ha, brilliant lap from him. Fassi scrapes through as well in P10, so he keeps his dreams alive. But right now, Ron Ha starts from pole, potentially, as we go to Q3. He's looking like the strongest. It is now down, as we mentioned in Q1, to Freddie Rasmussen. Get on that front row and cause Ron Ha problems.
Let's hear from our championship leader. Jarno Opmeer is speaking to Claire Cottingham.
Championship leader indeed, but made that incredibly hard for yourself for the final race of the season, haven't you, Jarno? You got through to Q2 by the skin of your teeth and then still struggled in that one. What is it? What's been going on?
Well, my Q1 laps were just bad. Q2 already went a lot better. Unfortunately, my first run, or first new tire run into turn 1, I had a pothole, which then set me back already 1.5 tenths. And then, yeah, the rest of the lap was really, really good. But yeah, then on my last run, it just didn't quite come together. Struggling a little bit for grip for some reason. I had that in Kota as well. One session going top of the leaderboard by 2 tenths, and then the other lap you just struggle for grip and you're losing 2 tenths. So not sure why, but yeah, this track has always been a little bit my Achilles heel. So.
Bad time to be the Achilles heel at the end of the championship, and the fact that you could wrap up a world championship today. How are you feeling ahead of the race then? Is this set you back quite a lot?
Well, obviously I would prefer to start from pole. Race is going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to depend on what the teammates do of the championship rivals. I mean, Williams was speaking on Twitter quite publicly about how they were going to take people out. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, we will see what happens in the race.
Okay, well, good luck for that one.
Thank you.
Appreciate Jarno Opmeer speaking to us as he makes his way back to the rig as per the regulations. It's given us something to talk about. This was effectively a coronation day for him. But 14th, I know he's a master in race conditions, but that is in the danger zone. Ismail Fassi made it through in 10th place. He was 2 tenths of a second away from that man, Thomas Ron Ha. Exactly 2 tenths of a second away from that man. Thomas Ron Ha, well, they weren't joking about him being the favourite, were they? He has just looked in another league to everyone else so far, but you've got to do it in Q3. That's the joy of these sessions. The times get reset. Otis Lawrence looking good, and you've mentioned Freddie Rasmussen, who can play a major part. Our champion from last year could yet decide in which direction the championship goes this year. A reminder for you, Ron Ha's got to win the race to take the title. Anything else, and it's Jarno Opmeer, 3-time champion of the world.
And Fassi as well.
Yeah, same applies.
Yeah, exactly. So just want to, include Fassi in whilst it's still mathematically possible. But yeah, there is a small, tiny gap in a door that Ron Ha is seeing right now. But he has to deliver in Q3. He has been phenomenal in qualifying, especially in Event 3. One more lap to put on the board, to take pole position, take an extra point with it as well, as a bollard goes flying across our screen.
Yes.
But these are the important laps. If you're just tuning into Q3, they are going to do some housekeeping now. we've got some of the drivers out there just removing those boards, those braking markers, anything that's in the way of their extreme racing lines. But here's Freddie Rasmussen, Alex. He doesn't feel pressure, and I think he'll feel even less pressure by the fact that it's not his title that he's trying to defend. He's trying to help Jarno Opmeer, the other side of the Red Bull Sim garage. If he can steal pole away from Ron Haar, that gives so much more control to Red Bull.
It does.
For the race.
It does indeed. He's looking for his second pole position of the season. Driver in 5th position in the points, 88 points compared to Opmeer's 148. His teammate, and the gap to the championship leader, only Silverstone. Pole position where he converted into his only win of the year. As Fassi bounces off the bollard.
Ding, ding, each time he hits the bollard.
Enjoying that aspect that we see every time we race around here. And Thomas Ron Haar back into the pits. Installation laps complete. Systems checks complete. Alfie Butcher, the sole McLaren in the order, finding himself out there. And Freddie Rasmussen is the driver we're on board with. Pretty wonderful choice to enjoy around this Yas Marina Circuit. We're about to haul on the anchors and brake for turn number 5.
See how he navigates that one pretty nicely as he heads down the straight now. And this is why you can see they're getting rid of certain boards, because look at this line that he's taking. He is opening up that left-hander as much as he possibly can, avoiding any bumps down the straight as well. It is millimetre perfect stuff. That apex is pretty gorgeous as well, as he then heads down the next straight as well.
Outstanding stuff from Freddie Rasmussen through there. Compare it to some of the laps that we saw in Q2, where there was just that hesitation getting on the throttle into the section that powers you all the way to turn number 9, which is the one that we're at the moment. And then the high-speed nature of the circuit completely stops now. Crank on the lock, clobber the bollards, don't worry about them. And Freddie Rasmussen giving us an exhibition.
The housekeeping and push lap. I love to see it. The combination's beautiful.
And in he comes. Enjoyed that with Freddie Rasmussen, who is one of our 7 different winners. His last race as the reigning champion. After so many years of helping out the team he was racing for, finally got the success for himself 1 year ago. And it will be, by the end of the evening, Fassi, Ron Haar, or his teammate and runaway championship leader, you have to say, Jarno Opmeer. With 8 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the final qualifying session of the Sim Racing World Championship season. And you're looking at Ismail Fassi, who has really upgraded, hasn't he? He didn't score points in the second half of last year, just 2 podiums in his entire campaign. This year, competitive throughout all 3 events. How he would love to get himself in the top 5 and give himself a chance. Otis Lawrence as well became our youngest ever winner in Jeddah. And more than that, he has been in that top 5 all the time. He'll have learned a lot as well. There's a rotation he was waiting for through turn number 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, the speed was scrubbed off slightly, I think, for Lawrence there. Let's see how competitive his first sector is. 17.364. We've seen 17.1s there, but there is a discrepancy in setups, as we've seen across this whole season, which is good to see. There's not just one setup that's the fastest, and teams will decide, and also with their driver's style of combating these circuits. Hard on the brakes, once again, a little bit more on the sausage curb on the inside there, which I don't think Lawrence would have particularly wanted. And once more on the straight, minimising the meters towards the next corner, right to the wall on the left-hand side, and then he'll chuck the car in. Huge amount of steering lock. And through that middle sector, 34.8. Not sure this is going to be the fastest time we've seen around here today, but he's pushing again, misses the apex ever so slightly on the right. And into the last sector we go, as we heard from Ron Haar. The tyres will be screaming at this point. As Lawrence, does he decide to finish this one? He does indeed, chucks it into the final corner, and here's his lap time.
A great lap on board for a driver who has been part of the narrative in a major way this year. And he will believe that he has future champion potential. Live timing now at the bottom of your picture. We've got Harry Burman, Nicolas Longuet, Fab Donoso is the driver on the right-hand side with the time. He's managed to break through 2 Aston Martins in the top 10 to close out the year. And we're comparing them to the 2 Ferraris as we reach the final corner of the circuit. And you can see it is Barry Burmond who has his time beaten by Nicolas Longuet. And Fab Donoso going very quickly in that final sector.
And it invalidated, though.
Yeah.
Did Donoso. But a lot of these drivers are out there on a used set of tyres purely because they've had to have a couple of goes and more goes than they would have liked in Q1 and Q2. Fathi
goes top.
3.
So that's a proper push.
Ulash, hello, 21-1.
Yeah, nice lap as well.
Oh!
Caraton hanging on to it. And losing the time as a result, all over the road. And now it's all aboard the Ronha Express because he has been absolutely mighty around here in a way that only Freddie Rasmussen appears to have an answer for. Penultimate corner leading into turn 16. The driver who is second in the points goes to the top of the timing page by 0.04 of a second.
Yeah, it's close. Ulash has put a good lap time on the board. What does Rasmussen do? He goes to P2. Important lap from Freddie Rasmussen. That will bank him a top 4, you would hope, into the final part of this qualifying session. That is a great lap from Rasmussen. Otmir will have to buy him a drink at the end if Freddie does have a part to play in the final part of this chapter in F1 sim racing. As Burmond crawls back to the pits for his final and mainly only competitive go in Q3 when he puts on a fresh set of softs. But that is a really good lap from Rasmussen. Azildarim up there as well. I think Ronha might have a little bit more time on the board, though, and in the locker, because that's similar to what he set in Q2.
He's trailing back to the pits. The driver on 127 points off the back of that 4th place finish. First over the line yesterday, given a 1-second penalty for his move on the last lap up against Nicolas Longuet. It was described as rough driving, and as a result, he found himself coming in 21 points back. Wants to make that 20, wants to keep Freddie Rasmussen behind, who looks like his closest threat. He's the next driver that we're focusing on. And we're into the final 3 minutes and 39 seconds of qualifying for the Sim Racing Championship in 2025. Plenty in the mix, including Yas Marina, who was making headlines for the wrong reasons earlier in this event and has looked genuinely competitive in all 3 sessions so far.
Massively competitive. What his role will be later on, we will wait to see as we look at the 2 Aston drivers, and then of course Brendan Lee and Thomas Ronha. Ronha, I think he would have wanted more than a 200th gap to the driver behind with one final qualifying lap of this season to go. But we also know that Ronha doesn't feel pressure. Barry Burmond was singing his praises earlier on in this qualifying about how he deals with pressure. Can he deal with it one final time, Alex? As we take a look at the Williams team, Caraton there, and Fassi alongside just behind that left monitor. Who can deliver?
That is the question as we build up for the final moments of the final qualifying session. And you've got Freddie Rasmussen and Jarno Otmir as the drivers in your picture. And this unique pit lane exit. So it's Thomas Ronha on provisional pole. Freddie Rasmussen's going to keep him honest. That's been the case all the way through the qualifying hour. Yas Marina will just be trying to keep it in that top 5 minimum. Fassi, I think, would be very, very pleased, but the rest of those laps are going to change. Barry Burmond as well, invalidating his lap time. Nothing on the board, but it wouldn't have been representative. Can anyone put pressure on Ronha, or will it be another pole position as he closes out such a strong run over 1 lap at the end of the year, and with his title rival down in 14th position, pole position, and the point that comes with it gives him a chance of taking this one to the distance, win the race, and ask the question of Jarno Otmir.
Something we didn't expect, really. Here's Lawrence.
I'm relaxed, sorry. Just it's time to send for the final time.
Oh, yes.
It's time to send for the final time. Let's see. Because Otis has been brilliant in qualifying. He's currently P5, obviously, with that lap. Expect a big improvement in this final one. Otis is brilliant over one lap. Can he deliver, get himself in the mix? As you know for a fact, if Lawrence smells a victory, he will take it, and he will take it with a few lunges as well. He likes an overtake, does Lawrence?
He likes a 50-50 move, and we have to admire him for going for all of the chances across this rookie season that he's found himself in. We're on board with a driver trying to improve one last send on low fuel. That's well judged on the exit of turn number 1, and you can see he's gaining time on his used tyre lap. This, he will hope, minimum of top 5. He is in 5th position, heading in to these final push laps. It's Ronha on provisional pole. We're into the final 20 seconds of qualifying for the Sim Racing Championship of the World in 2025, heading down to turn number 6.
To give you an idea, Otis Lawrence 0.571 of a second behind pole position. Look at the steering lock he puts in there. The rear end came round very nicely indeed. He's 3.5 tenths up already. If that gets to 5.5 tenths, 6 tenths, he's definitely challenging for pole position. He's got plenty of the laps still to go. Can these tyres deliver?
That is the question. He's gaining all the time. Pure traction. You can see he's up to half a second, gaining all the way through. Then we're going to go into traction corners once again now, where you will get the benefit, and you can see the lap time is gaining all the while. How brave he's going to get with the wall here. Nicely judged, didn't need to. This is going to get close to taking provisional pole. It's been an absolutely roasting lap from Otis Lawrence. He promised full send, he delivered full send. Provisional pole. Over to you, Ronha. Rasmussen, Barry Borman gets 0.08 of a second away. And now Freddie Rasmussen is the driver that we're focusing on. He will be coming through the line in a few moments' time. Alfie Butcher at 3rd. Barrowman is 4th. Nicholas Longuet provisionally on the front row. Freddie Rasmussen on board with the Red Bull man. He goes to the top of the timing page. Will we see a response from the Williams? Ishmael Fassi in 11th. Over to Thomas Ronha, who comes over the line, and he's taken pole position by 0.03 of a second. Last over the line, first at the flag. He's the driver to beat, and Freddie Rasmussen is alongside him. Incredibly tight at the end there, but it's Ronha who takes his 3rd pole in a row, and he is the driver hoping to secure the win, to ask the question of our main man and points leader, Jarno Opmeer. Ronha, Rasmussen, Lawrence Longuet, Butcher, then Borremand, Fassi, Osiodarim, Caraton, and Fab Donoso, our final top 10 of the year.
Game on, Alex. Game on. Ronha takes the pole position that we all expected coming into this, which is not something we can usually say in this F1 Sim Racing World Championship, but Ronha on an absolutely unbelievable set of form there, especially in qualifying. 3 poles in a row. It's another point to his name. Not sure that actually makes much difference into the race, unless he steals fastest lap as well. There's Fassi. He'll be slightly disappointed with P7, I'm sure. Event 1 probably feels like a very long way away from there. But Opmeer down in 14th, Ronha on pole. It stays like that. Ronha's the champion.
Yeah, and who'd have thought it? I mean, honestly, a genuine, not a surprise to see Ronha on pole, but to see your points leader head out in the second part of qualifying. Jarno Opmeer is mighty in the races, though. It is going to be close. It is going to be debated in a way that maybe we didn't expect. Freddie Rasmussen's going to have a big part to play. Driver 5th in the point standings could yet decide which way the crown goes. And it feels deserving of this year that we're going to get a grandstand finish. Right, he's done it again. Thomas Ronha needs to win. And he's given himself a great opportunity. He's taken the final pole of the year, and he's speaking to Claire.
It's definitely the place he wants to be, to have to win the championship, and you put yourself on pole position again. I mean, I'm not surprised because we know you're a fierce fighter out there, but this is quite a performance.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to do today is, start first and finish first. That's pretty much my only hope to win the championship. Yeah, the laps were really good in practice as well. My yeah, my base around there has always been very strong. In the past as well in esports, I've always been up there at the front. So I knew going to qualifying it was going to be, I wouldn't say easy, but easier than the other tracks to start at the front. But yeah, to start on pole, to get that extra point will also be important later on today.
Okay, let's just briefly hear what your reaction was across the radio, because I'm interested to hear this one.
Drive. Lekker jongen. Lekker jongen. Heerlijk. Lekker jongen.
You sounded happy.
I was not as maybe loud as the other ones, but yeah, I know it's not over yet. The job is, I think, 20% done, not just starting on pole. Yeah, Jarno being down in, I don't know, 14th, 13th is, yeah, good start. I think it'll be very important to just keep yourself relaxed in the race, and then, yeah, we'll see what happens.
What was your thoughts when you saw that Jarno was down in 14th? Did you think, oh, come on, game on?
Absolutely. I think him starting down this far will obviously help me a lot in the championship. Yeah, 14th is definitely not easy. It is still Jarno, so in the race he's always going to be very strong. But yeah, in quali he seems to be struggling, especially around here in the past. He's not always been the best. So yeah, we'll see what happens again in the race. Like I said, there will be some, let's say, team plays going on, but that's of course, yeah, going to happen with Freddie starting second. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, I'm excited.
Pole position to winning, which obviously then means you win the championship. Are you feeling any extra pressure?
Not really. I think it's just more the fact I just have to do my job, which is finishing first. Around there, I'm feeling very confident, like I said many times, and yeah, I can't wait.
Congratulations, it's pole position.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, that is exactly what we said we needed to see to keep this championship battle alive. We just saw the camera panning there off of Jarno Opmeer, not able to make it into the top 10. You said beforehand, Alex, that you thought pole was not even an option.
Yeah.
Not even making it into Q3, though.
Yeah, massive shock that he's not made the top 10 on what could be a defining day for him in F1 sim racing. Yeah, he hasn't looked like he's had the one-lap pace all year. The reason that he's the points leader, though, is that he is devastating in race trim. So a disappointing moment for him, but he's still in it. But it is a tough exam question when he would have just been hoping for a really boring P7 or something similar today.
He would have been. I mean, I know it keeps the championship alive, but I mean, Thomas has some work on his hands, Matt, to actually make this the championship win, though, doesn't he?
He does. It's not over for Ronhard just because he's got pole position. We've seen how tough the races can be, and it's a quick track, a lot of DRS, a lot of slipstreams. So Rasmussen's going to be there, and he's a wily old fox, Rasmussen. He knows how to win races, and he'll know how to affect Ronhard's race as much as possible to help his teammate. Of course, he's going to do that. He's going to try to win the race. He's going to try and put Ronhard just a little bit, or make him uncomfortable. I can't believe we're talking about such a title decider that we've got before us. This is not what I expected, and we've got it.
We have indeed. It's brilliant. We are going to hand over to Marcel now. He's going to talk us through that pole lap. You right, mate?
Yes. But we are not just talking about the pole lap. We are also talking about the main competitor, Jarno Opmeer, the current championship leader. We are going to have a look at his lap that actually got him out of qualifying, so already heading into turn 1. Jarno is slightly, ever so slightly, missing the inside curb, which pushes him wide. His first sector was really not fast. He had only a 4.35, which I think in Q1 it was already a 0.3 for the fastest drivers, or even a 0.2. So crossing the line there, you can actually see it in the top right. Now he's braking actually not on the curb like some do, down to third, also missing the apex here, getting a little bit loose. He lost already over 10th there, just by probably driving mistakes. He said potholes as well. I don't know where they are. I didn't drive this version of the track, but we'll see if we can spot any of them. Sometimes I think under braking here. His chicane was actually looking quite good, gained some time back, not on the exit though. So just an overall not delivering the pace, because we could see in the other Red Bull they have a good setup. It's not about the setup, it's probably just not his favorite track. Then hooking it up nicely on the left hand there, also still down on his time. I can't really spot too many flaws aside from sector 1. It's just in general not a really quick lap. Then here I think he's attacking the curb a little bit too much, also getting loose here a bit. Not too bad. And now we will see his big mistake in the final corner. where he just tried to be desperate and get some more time, getting loose on the exit curb, and he knew he was out. So that was it for Mr. Ottmer from Red Bull Racing, and now we are going, okay, this is actually Brazil, so unfortunately, we can have a look at the Brazil lap if you guys want, but that is not the lap that we wanted to have a look at. So maybe we can check it out later, otherwise I will send it back over to you guys.
Come on, Senna Estes.
Brazil was great.
What was that?
Thank you, Marcel. That was great in more ways than one. Guys, that was a lovely little analysis from Marcel there.
He is fuming.
He is
honestly.
absolutely fuming.
Yeah.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. But, sorry, came back to us quicker than we were expecting there. Right, so we have a battle on our hands when we get to it. I want to pick up on the Rasmussen point because we have seen throughout this season the teammates playing such a crucial role when it comes to the races, some being penalised because they've been playing the role a little bit too strongly.
Yeah.
But Freddie is quite a force, isn't he? And that is going to be a serious thorn for Thomas Ronhaar.
Yeah, but the form it will take is he is rapid. He will try and win the race. There won't be shenanigans from Freddie Rasmussen. He's not going to play any silly games. He's not a dirty driver. He's not going to have a move that's 50-50. If he can win the race, he'll win the race. If he can't, he'll shrug his shoulders and see where Jarno Ottmer finishes. So he is a pure pace problem and nothing more for Thomas Ronhaar.
I'm wondering as well, you know, no silly shenanigans for sure from Freddie, but Red Bull can be clever with this and go, right, Freddie, we're going to give you a little undercut. We're going to put you in front of Ronhaar, and then you can dictate the pace slightly more.
Yeah.
Oh, if Ronhaar wants to go side by side with you, fine, let's party. Because it's all time lost, and it's helping Ottmer behind. So there's things like that is, of course, within the rules. It's just literally trying to win the race in a different way.
Yeah.
God, it's going to make it good. Let's head over to Claire and see who she has managed to grab for an interview.
I am, of course, with Harvey Partridge from Alpine, the team manager. We've just been talking. We did a full circle. We spoke to you at the beginning of the season. Now we're speaking to you now because I want to see how the season's gone. At the beginning of the year, we spoke about how it was a big change. There was new faces. It was kind of rip up the rule book and start again. It's been a struggle since, but what have we learned? How are we feeling?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's really been the season that we wanted it to be. I think, you know, coming into event one, top 5, top 6 was where we were aiming to be. But it's just been a case of, you know, I'm the only face that stuck from the last team. We've learned an incredible amount on the data, how we work together as teams, bringing processes from the teams that all the guys have previously been at. We've got, you know, guys that have come from all across the grid to join Alpine. But it's taking time to put it all into place, and it's not gone how we wanted it to be, but I think we've got a very strong future ahead of us for the next few years.
I was going to say, it feels a bit like a foundation year, which isn't ideal when you're halfway through a championship. I appreciate that. But you have to kind of lay the path. I'm going to try and use an analogy here of tiles, but I don't actually know what you stick tiles down with, so I'm just going to continue. It feels like you're starting that foundation, though, doesn't it? Rather than really getting your teeth into the championship.
Absolutely. You know, the foundations have been laid, and now we'll go up brick by brick. We've got brand new telemetry in place that we've started to build throughout the year that's really helping the drivers in the post session. We've got so much in place in the engineering side, in the development side, bringing in, you know, new faces all the time and really trying to help the drivers push and find where we're missing things. I still don't think we found everything that we need for this season, which is a shame, but that's not you know, saying anything about the boys' work ethic. I've been with them till 2 a.m. in Enstone, you know, working on the sims in our CFD room when we've got some sims and some rig space. So it's got nothing to do with the effort that they've put in this year. It's more just we haven't found that pace, and there's so much that we've had to rebuild and start again and put all of those processes in place that it makes me very confident moving forward.
Well, you've got lots of new faces in your team. However, there is a face that we know very well from the Formula One grid. Let's hear it from Mr. Pierre Gasly.
Hey guys, it's Pierre here from the simulator. I actually want to wish Josh and Johnny all the best for the last race of the season in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, we support you guys, and yeah, hope you're gonna do very well, keeping an eye on you, and yeah, go get the win.
Well, there you go. Pierre Gasly giving you a little update there, saying, go on, you can do it. That's really nice to see, isn't it, that the drivers from the Formula One Championship are getting involved. We heard from Max Verstappen yesterday, as well as the RB guys. It's so nice to see that they are supporting this championship.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think having Pierre on side with us is amazing. He comes around and stops by when the boys are in the factory and when we're in the factory, asks about gaming. He's not quite as much of a sim racer, maybe, as Max is. He's a big player of Call of Duty. He loves his COD. But it's nice to have drivers that are interested in what we're doing. You know, Jack as well, being big on iRacing. It's lovely to have faces in motorsport that are invested in what we're doing.
Are we going to finish the season on a high?
I would love to. I'd love it for the boys more than anything. The amount of time and effort and energy that everyone behind the scenes at Alpine's put in, for the results not to have come is heartbreaking for them more than anything. So Abu Dhabi is one of the best tracks for the drivers. I think Josh has put it as his #1. So I'm really hoping that it will fall in place for them and that we can end on a positive.
Yeah, let's hope that too. Thank you so much for chatting to us, Harvey. Lovely to speak to you. Ariana, back to you.
Thank you very much, Claire. That was lovely. Nice little guest appearance from Pierre Gasly there as well. Right, qualifying is done and dusted, which means only one thing. It's time for the final starting grid of this season.
Thank goodness.
Go on, guys.
Okay, too much expectation, so let's do it normally.
Oh, come
That's
on.
normal. Go on.
Thomas Gao is next to Brendan Lee, who makes his final ever start in the championship. The next row is read by Matthew.
Lucas Blakely, 18th position, and he will look to his right or left, can't remember, and there'll be Shanaka Clay in P17.
He's 8 meters further ahead, and then we journey to the next row, which is Tom Manley next to Josh Edu, who will be looking to move forward from P15.
And 8 meters further ahead, we have Jarno Opme, the championship leader, which is actually quite serious. So we should probably say that seriously.
that is a big moment. Jarno Opme, his title on the brink there. Wow.
But 13th, Joni Tormala.
And next up, we journey to Danny Beresne, who's next to his teammate Jake Benham.
That's quite cute, isn't it?
P11. Wonderful for both. Then it's Fab Donoso and
that one for me.
Alvaro Caraton.
Wow,
Sorry.
do two rows.
I
Do
forgot.
two rows.
Oh,
Don't
maybe
worry
I'll do
about
the
me,
next
mate.
one. Let's see. Hold on.
No,
Hold
you're
on.
not.
Is this going to be me?
Ulas Azildarim.
Yes.
P8 alongside Ismail Fasti, still mathematically possible to win the championship, but it's going to require a miracle shut it, Alex Jakes, because it's Barry Buraman. P6 and Alfie Butcher.
Nicholas Longue is in 4th. Otis Lawrence is in 3rd. And your final front row of the year.
Do it, Alex!
Freddie Rasmussen is next to the man who has to win and starts P1. Thomas Run! I think we might have oversold it at the end. The rest of it seemed fine.
Quite an exciting race ahead.
Yeah.
I love your work.
I'm glad someone does.
Yeah, because we hate it.
Because I can only picture the comments right now. What side is it? Like that side? Just a wall of hate coming on us.
Thank you both very much. I mean, that starting grid sets us up for an absolute beauty later today. Make sure you do join us when we go racing for one last time and we crown our champions, driver and constructor. It is going to be quite something with a grid lining up like that. Boys, thank you very much. Claire and Marcel, thank you to you as well. You don't want to miss this one, guys. We'll be back at 8 p.m. to bring you the final race in Abu Dhabi. 9 p.m.
Just
9
be there.
p.m. Be there.
Just leave
It's better to be early.
Just click the screen. Click the screen.
It's better to be early.
Watch.